I've been doing a lot of thinking lately, something I want to do, and the cultural aspects of archery. I've already discussed or made arguments about Eastern and Western archery, and from my perspective, sitting, well, in this case, kneeling here, Asia's west of me, so therefore Asian archery is technically Western archery to me, and I'm east of them, so it's Eastern archery here. I know. I'm making fun of the fact that where I physically sit, that is how things work. Culturally, the East and West being Europe being considered the West and Asia being considered the East. That's cultural identity. The bow that is on my knee here was manufactured in China. It is a recurve bow. It's a 60-inch bow. It is a laminated bamboo bow, but it's not really based on any historical designs. It's a whole bunch of designs put together into one. Technically, it can be argued that this is a longbow. Technically, because the definition of a longbow is the string doesn't touch. See? No touching. Kind of unique. So, we would call this a recurved longbow. Which, yeah, no, it's a recurve. See? Kind of obvious. But we could argue, but that's a technical definition that we have created. And as archery advances as a technology, and it continues to advance because new materials are used and new designs or modifications of new designs. Like, I'm a huge fan of the slick stick by Bodnik. That's not based on anything from, ye old past. It's a modern or a current design that's borrowed elements and ideas and modified them and adapted them. It's an adapting technology. We, the humans who live on this planet, adapted technology. We take from the past, we borrow from the future, and in the present, voila, we get something new. And then it's not new anymore because time has passed. And we create something else new eventually. So we have all these different cultural practices that we associate with archery. For example, I am here at the Robin Hood Pole Archery Park. Oh, sweet. In Winnipeg. It's one of the, actually, to be fair, in Manitoba, there are only 3 vertical poles, 2 of them here in this one field, in all of North America, that we are aware of. Now, this archery practice, shooting up a pole, is more common in a small region of Belgium. Well, actually, not really a small region, but Belgium is very small compared to the physical size of, well, Canada, North America. So it's heavily associated as part of a Belgian culture, right? It is a Belgian practice, a Belgian cultural practice where they shoot what we call, and what they call, birds, right? So a block with a feather on it that's mounted way up on there. And our goal is to knock the damn thing off. By the way, lots of fun. You don't have to be Belgian to do this. I'm not. I'm a Canadian. Now, the pole archery, or the way that we practice pole archery here in Manitoba, is very recognizable to people who practice pole archery in Belgium. We use many of the same words, the same terms. We are shooting up a pole, right? The club members here are very, very proud of their connections to Belgium, right? And that's just, it's a cultural aspect. In some cases, some of the clubs in Europe, Belgium, they use birds like this. Look at the difference in size, eh? Now, I'm sorry I don't have a feather on it, but look at the difference. We call these sharpshooters, and we have an event 1-hour shoot every year where we put these up and we call these the sharpshooters. They call these birds. Well, not all the clubs, but those clubs call them birds. The clubs here have created little games, like different variations. Like, for example, poker. We play a game where it's called poker, and we get poker cards, playing cards based on what birds we knock off, and it's poker. You don't get a card unless you hit a bird, which there's none up there, so I'm not hitting anything. I'm just shooting for the sake of shooting. That is a cultural modification made by our region. It's a variation. And it's cultural variations and the applications of archery as a sport that we use to amuse ourselves. Eastern, Western, Northern, Southern archery. Technologically, it's near universal. Culturally, we have different identities that we are very, very strongly tied to and feel very strongly about and identify with. People argue over it all the time. But it's a sport. At this point, it's a sport. Why are we arguing? Keep having fun, guys.